Barnett, known for his spinning attacks, surprising agility, and explosive burst despite his stocky frame, will try to keep the fight on feet and deliver something highlight worthy. Abdel Wahab, a power wrestler with a strong Greco-Roman background, will likely aim to close the distance quickly, clinch and grind Barnett down with takedowns and control. If Barnett can stuff the shots and keep space. I don't know. I mean, if he's losing to Mo Usman and he's a Olympic caliber wrestler.
But Mo Usman's from, he's Kamaru's brother. He's going to be at least solid on wrestling. So, like, I mean, he's minus 400, but it's a grappler against a striker with no stamina and very little reach here. Oh, actually, he does have a longer reach than Hamdi does. So I'm just thinking he's 5'9". How much of a reach can he have? I think I just remember that it's minus 400. That's a lot to lay, dude.
Yeah, it is.
I think plus 300 on the Hail Mary pick is probably the move.
It's kind of weird when you look him up. That fucking champ from like Bellator pops up on like the main on the Google page when you look. I can't remember his name. Fucking. He was just in that movie. The dude with the belt. I can't remember his name though. Ryan Bader. Yeah.
Ryan Bader.
I don't know why his picture keeps popping up for Hamdi Abdelwahab. But yeah, I don't know about that one.
Well, yeah. Any other on these prelims that you are interested in?
Walter Volker. I mean, that's like a lock. I don't know. We don't have to do any of them. I could just go main card. Well, Ikram Elixirov versus Junyoung Park. That's actually a very interesting fight.
Nathaniel Wood.
Yeah, we can just.
That's a good fight to watch. Walter Walker against Louis Sutherland. We've seen Louis Sutherland before in the UFC? No, we haven't. I would go Walter Walker there. I think they're doing him a favor. I think they're trying to build him up a little bit. They want to get him fighting. Kennedy Nezachikwa was a big win for him. Submitted everybody via heel hook. They just did a profile. The UFC just did a profile on him about how his last name's not actually Walker, but
Johnny. You want to do the episode? You want to do it?
We're already in the episode.
Oh shit! I didn't realize we were live, bro.
We're live. Yeah, we've been in the episode for like 7 minutes.
Whoa. Okay. Let's go. Yeah, dude. Wow. Sorry for interrupting you. Then continue.
No. So anyway, yeah, it was kind of like a shotgun start, but anyway, yeah.
You're saying how his real name's not Walker?
His name's not Walker. It's like something else. And but because I think it's their moms or their dad, somehow like they're half brothers, but not of the same last name. And Johnny Walker gifted the last name Walker to Walter to like show like kinship or something. That's what he was saying. And long of it is the UFC did a profile on him, so they're trying to build him up. They're giving him a guy who's entering the UFC. Like, shoot, yeah, give me Walter Walker minus 340. He's got better odds. Like, you can make more money on Walter Walker against a UFC newcomer than you can on Hamdi Abdelwahab winning a grappling match against freaking Chris Barnett. Isn't that insane?
Yeah, that is pretty wild. I'm probably going to go with Chris Barnett because it's plus 300. I didn't really say that before. And then, I'm going with Walter Walker as well because, he's fighting a UFC newcomer. And you're absolutely right. The lines do not make sense there whatsoever. Curious if they've been updated since this first went up, but I don't know.
I think this is a good one. I like Ikram Elixirov against the Iron Turtle. Iron Turtle is really good at grappling, but against a Russian guy in Elixirov, younger, I'm going Elixirov. I was just clicking around here. Do you have any picks for this? Obviously, big knockout potential here from the Russian.
Yeah, I think he's going to bait Junyoung Park a lot. Junyoung Park is going to shoot double legs, single legs, like just go for takedowns a lot throughout the course of the fight. Nick Ikram's going to just keep backing up, playing with him a little bit. Maybe one of these rounds, maybe the first one, Junyoung Park has a little bit of control time, but I think good amount of the time of this fight is going to be spent with Ikram just picking him apart and eventually looking for that finish. So, yeah, give me Ikram Elixirov. I like him a lot.
And then one other one on the prelims that I was looking at is Nasrat Hakparast and Quillian Falkild. I don't actually recognize his name, but he looks very familiar, and I feel like he's a very entertaining striker. He's from Australia. I remember this guy. My thing is that he is young. He's new to the sport, and going against a veteran like Nasrat Haqparast, it makes me really nervous for him. Nasrat obviously can do it all, but does he do it all? He is 5-0 over his last 5. He's quietly building a pretty decent record here. At 30, he's still like, kind of in his prime, on the tail end of his prime here. You look at the last one, John Makdessi by decision, Landon Quinones by decisions, knocked out Jamie Malarkey. The split decision, Jared Gordon, Esteban Riverwood split decision. I mean, these aren't phenomenal wins, but they're not nothing either. Against a guy who, Yanal Ashmuz, it went to a decision, knocked out Anshul Jubilee on his UFC debut via right cross. He got a unanimous decision on the Contender Series and a couple other fights outside of the UFC. It's near even. I feel like I would want to go Haqparast. This is actually really representative of how I feel. I would want to go Haqparast because he's a veteran and because he's been there before. But something about my gut is making me want to pick kind of the young guy with the speed advantage and with a little bit more electricity. I don't know. I feel like they have probably about the same power in their hands. Something, kind of like Tapology has me just leaning Salkeeld. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm going Nasrat Haqparast personally. I've seen him fight a lot of times. I think that he's extremely skillful, and he's a tough challenge for anybody just entering the UFC and anybody in general of like this mid-tier lightweight range. So it is a big test for the newcomer, but because this is first, second fight in the UFC for Salkeeld.
It's his second official, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean the Contender Series fight was awesome, but I've seen Nasrat Haqparast fight a lot, and I like the guy. Solid skill set, can do a lot of things really well. Not perfect at one trade, but one of these like newer mid-tier guys that can do everything really well. So give me Nasrat Haqparast.
And I'm still torn. I feel like the safe pick is Nasrat. Especially because they're basically even. You're not winning any extra money by picking the older guys. So, yeah, I think I'm going to follow you on that one. Nasrat Haqparast, it's near even. He's got everything on his side. It would be I personally, I think it would probably be a little bit of an upset if Quillian won. And if you're not going to get any additional money for that, why go for that? So that makes perfect sense to me. Looking back at this prelim card here, before we move on to the main card, and I mean, we should at some point probably roll the intro, but hey, anything left here to talk about?
No, I'm good. Ready to move on when you want to.
All right. Well, let's roll the intro.
It's time.
What is kicking, everybody? We are back for another episode after a long hiatus due to scheduling and holidays, I'm sure something, and maybe a drought off by the UFC. We are back for UFC 321 Aspinall versus Gane. Best bets, picks, and predictions. We are picking fights. I'm picking fights. Tom, that is picking Keith. Keith, how you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Yeah, I mean, you were jet setting. You were in Italy for a while. You're traveling all over the place. I get super busy with work with certain events that happen around here. So, I was busy as well. And, it was just, but we're back, and we're happy to be back, especially with such a monumentous card. Cyril Gane versus Tom Aspinall finally happening. I believe this was a fight that was scheduled previously, right? And then didn't come through. Could be wrong, but
Let's check on that.
I feel like it was slated for Europe at some point. Virna Jandiroba and Mackenzie Dern fighting for Zhang Wei Li's old title, and then we got a bunch of other stuff going on too. So cool way to do the episode. Call me off guard. We're live. Did I cut out?
Yeah, you're cutting in and out for me. I don't know if you seem to be back now, but you were saying I caught you off guard going live.
Oh yeah, I didn't know we were going live, and it's like a fun way to do it, getting in those prelims and then jumping in with the intro afterwards. I like that. So if you can catch me off guard, it'll make for a fun segment every week. So
the only thing is, I wish I started it like 10 seconds sooner because I got you in the middle of a thought. But I'll get better with it as we go on. And I did check on it. I don't think this fight has been scheduled before. I'm looking back at their histories here. I don't think that they've ever been matched up, Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane. So yeah, this is the first fight. That does make sense because I think Gane was beaten easily by John Jones, and he then beat Sergey Spivak and Alexander Volkov. Tom Aspinall was kind of, already beyond Cyril Gane once he lost to John Jones, and then was fighting, for the belt and for, higher rated contenders at that point. So I guess they never crossed each other's paths, but they do now. And I don't know. I have a pretty strong feeling about how you're going to pick that fight. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into our main card picks.
Yeah. I'm going with Cyril Gane. No, I'm just kidding. I was just making a joke. I said I'm going with Cyril Gane since he. No, yeah, but yeah, let's roll it.
All right.
All right.
Are we on a delay? Can you hear me? Keith, you there?
I'm here now. I don't know what's happening.
All right. I don't know if you're responding to what I just said or something like 10 seconds ago.
You asked me if I was here. I'm here.
Okay. All right. You hear me now? We're like on the same.
Is there a delay?
I think there's a delay.
Yeah. Is there a delay? Fuck. There's a massive delay. All right. Let me leave and come back.
Yeah, there's definitely a massive delay. So Keith, you leave, come back. I'll work on talking about Alexander Rakic against Azamat Murzakanov. Azamat Murzakanov, the professional, as he is called here. Over his last 5, he's 15-0. So they're all going to be wins. Tafon Chikwi, flying knee, knockout Devin Clark via ground and pound, unanimous decision win over kickboxer Dustin Jacoby, knockout over Alonzo Menifield via punches, and then a knockout over Brendan Ribeiro. Azamat Murzakanov is a really strong contender rising up in the UFC here, and it's going to be really interesting to see him take on, even at 36 years old, fighting out of New Jersey, of Russia, obviously. It's going to be really interesting to see him take on Alexander Rakic, the Rocket Rakic, who has had 3 losses over the span of the last 4 years. Ever since having that devastating leg injury against Jan Blachowicz, he's come back a year and a half, basically 2 years after that, lost via ground and pound knockout to Yuri Prochazka, and then suffered a decision loss against Magomed Ankalaev, and now is taking on Azamat Murzakanov. And I mean, this is near even, and I don't see anything about this that makes me want to pick Alexander Rakic. I mean, he does have really strong leg kicks, and he's going to have a giant reach advantage here, but, I know this is a good step up in competition, but Dustin Jacoby going to a decision, unanimous decision with him, it makes me feel like Azamat Murzakanov is ready for the challenge that could be Alexander Rakic, especially with or following that leg injury where he just hasn't been the same fighter. Again, picking up losses to Magomed Ankalaev, who, again, really good fighter. Jan Blachowicz, really good fighter. Jan Blachowicz, again, really good fighter. Or Yuri Prochazka, should I say. These guys are really good fighters. However, they're getting it done with Alexander Rakic. Now, I do have to say that Rakic has looked better as he's came back each and every fight, which I guess there's only been 2 of. So we could get a Rakic that's going to come back and look really, really good and take advantage of the 36-year-old. But at this point, I'm going to go with the hot hand, and I'm going to go with Azamat Murzakanov. And so is 72% of Tapology. While I've been over here rambling, we seem to have gotten Keith back. So Keith, are you back?
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, and no delay?
No, not yet.
All right. I like it. Okay. So what do you think, Rakic or Murzakanov?
I heard most of what you said, going with Murzakanov, ditto to everything that you said. I think more of that like methodical jabbing, straight up puncher, and we've seen him lose time and time again recently to guys like Murzakanov that are more willing to throw things from the outside and over the top, looping punches, more power behind him. And if Murzakanov has watched any film, which I'm sure he has, he as a professional fighter and a professional athlete. Rakic, since the leg injuries, very, very scared of calf kicks. We've seen that quite a bit. Like, anything that looks like it's coming to the top of the shin, he's basically picking his whole leg up and moving the entire leg out of the way. Naturally so, but leg kick early and often, and it's a really good stepping stone for Mirzakhanov into some serious business in the light heavyweight division. So going with Mirzakhanov here. Next up, Volkov versus Dalton Almeida. What do you think of that one?
This is gonna be a good one, man. And so listen, you got Jailton Almeida, who people love to hate and clown on Jailton Almeida, and I'm going to be honest, I simply don't understand it. I know he's got that one loss over his last 5, but that's against Curtis Blades, a knockout via hammer fists. He didn't look good in that fight, and I if I'm thinking correctly, there was potentially reasons for that. But he come back with a win over Romanov via submission, who obviously is a Russian heavyweight grappler, and he is every bit of the 265 limit. And then he came back against Sergey Spivak, who I think a lot of people were picking Spivak in that fight. Jailton Almeida went out there, got it done, and made it look easy. Now he's against a big step up in competition here against Volkov, who is going to use his length and is great at using his length to keep, opponents on the outside. I could absolutely see a world where Volkov uses his teep kicks, uses his long punches to, mess with the timing of Jailton Almeida. But ultimately, I think Almeida is just going to be too quick and too powerful. He's eventually over the 3 rounds going to find his way in. I do think he has good durability, and I think he has decent enough boxing to be able to use his jiu-jitsu, which he is really good at. And I think that's why he gets clowned a lot, because he, in some of the biggest moments, instead of knocking people out and being a total destroyer, he will go in there and he'll grapple and he'll win, a decision where he's just laid on his opponent. People don't like that, so they give him backlash. But at the end of the day, I think, it's the same thing against if you're talking about an Nurmagomedov, where if they're going to go out there and find a way to win, it may not be the most enjoyable, but at least they're going out there and winning, and you can't knock that they're doing that. So at the end of the day, I think, we have a classic matchup of a grappler and a striker. The striker in this case is the older guy, and he's, definitely heavier, but he's definitely slower as well. And I think Jailton Almeida is going to use the, fact that he's probably just as strong as Volkov, but in a smaller frame. And when I say smaller frame, they have basically the exact same reach here. So he's going to be able to get in there, probably use his reach at distance if he needs to. Now, it's going to be hard to avoid the kicks, but if Almeida can get in there because he's quicker and he can change up his combinations, I see him taking down Volkov and then, really executing a strong game plan of a ground and pound or just control. So I'm going with Jailton Almeida because I think, even though I don't think he can strike, and win a striking battle, should I say? I think the opportunity for him to do that is also there. He's more versatile than Volkov, and Volkov basically just has experience and weight and leg reach on his side, and it's just not enough for me right now.
Yeah, no pushback from me whatsoever. He's a really tall guy, like you said, and that just means there's so much more of him to grab. There's a lot of leg to grab for Jailton Almeida, and I think that the striking is going to come through early for Volkov. The teep kicks are going to work a lot of stuff up the middle. And then it's going to force Jailton to get a little bit creative with his takedowns. And we've seen him do that before, climb on guys' backs and stuff like that, and really use the jiu-jitsu, like you said. And, get creative with it. I think he will. And I think that it's going to be interesting to see the two of them try and game each other out. Volkov's a little bit more one-dimensional, and Almeida has a lot more in his bag that he can go to. And so I think that, I agree with people on Topology here. 54% have him winning, and it looks like the majority is by submission. And I don't necessarily disagree with that because there is so much of Volkov to grab, and we've seen him struggle against guys that are really good at top control with jiu-jitsu because he's so long and those legs are so long, getting them back underneath somebody's hips and popping back up. Against lesser skilled wrestlers and jiu-jitsu practitioners, he's done well, but I think he's going to struggle on the ground against Almeida this week. So give me Jailton Almeida. What do we got next?
We got Umar Nurmagomedov against Mario Bautista. This is a interesting matchup here, but I think I know which way it's going to go, and there's a reason that Umar Nurmagomedov is a minus 450 favorite coming off that loss to Merab Dvalishvili, and the reason that's really not going to hurt him is because he lost via grappling. He lost in the same way that Merab beats everybody, and that's total annihilation, even if your last name is Nurmagomedov. That being said, Mario Batista is not going to have anywhere near the level of grappling or endurance as Merab Dvalishvili. So I'm going to pick Umar Nurmagomedov. Like, Mario Batista, you look at, his 5 on in, he's 5-0. Been in the UFC for a little bit. Submission over Guido Canetti almost 3 years ago. Unanimous decision over Damon Blackshear. Ricky Simone got the decision victory. Split decision over Jose Aldo, where he held him up against the cage a year ago. Patchy Mix. So at the end of the day, this I think Mario Batista is going to go out there with the intent to grapple, and against the Nurmagomedov, I don't know that you're going to come up on top. Especially, Umar is not a gigantic grappler. He is a really good striker, and I think that just makes him a lot more dynamic. And so for all of those reasons, the fact that he has a strong grappling base, but he is a little bit more dynamic, has good kicks. He is a little bit younger here, so he's going to have youth on his side. So you guys are about the same size. Give me Umar Nurmagomedov for, the fight IQ, the grappling background, the dynamic kicking, the speed, the youth. It's a lot to overcome for Mario Batista here.
Fair on all points, and absolutely agree with you. Minus 450 for a reason. Iron sharpens iron. I think that Umar is going to be training super, super hard and has been since that Merab loss, and he's going to go out and try and make a statement. Mario Batista is a guy that a lot of fans don't like because of that Jose Aldo win. And in a way, I think this is the UFC's get back. Like, hey, you did that to Jose, so here you go. Here's Umar, a highly motivated, kind of pissed off Umar Nurmagomedov, who I think he's going to be looking for a statement victory, and it's going to be impressive. So give me Umar Nurmagomedov, I think, by a finish in the first round. So that's that for me. Co-main event time. What do you got for that?
Well, we're looking at strawweight. They're fighting the vacant belt, and I'm trying to remember why. Is that because Zhang Weili relinquished it?
Yes.
Right. Is she moving up?
I believe so. I believe she's moving up to, I guess, fight, hopefully,
flyweight.
I don't know.
Oh, she's moving up to fight Valentina.
Oh, right.
So I guess they have her. I mean,
yeah.
This is for the belt, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. You know what? Tapology, for as good as it is, it misses some like very important details, or I just don't know where to look. Yeah, title on the line: UFC vacant strawweight championship, belt status before the fight, vacant. I mean, they couldn't have said whatever. It is what it is. You saw it there on Tapology. Jandiroba, a 76% favorite. Almost everybody expecting this to go to decision. It is women's MMA. Jandiroba, really good at grappling defense and a really strong striker. Got a lot of endurance, powerful punches. She's pretty accurate for women's MMA, considering she's down an eye or two. She is plus 110 here. Mackenzie Dern gets a lot of love. Not necessarily earned. She was knocked out by Jessica Andrade, lost decision Amanda Lemos. She was able to beat Lupi Godinez by decision, and she submitted Amanda Ribas. That's how she got here. On a 5-0 streak, decision win Angela Hill, decision win Marina Rodriguez, decision win Lupi Godinez, submission Amanda Lemos by armbar. I mean, and then Zhang Yanyan decision win. UFC math would say that Jandiroba wins, but even though she's 37 years old, she has much better striking than Mackenzie Dern, and she's shown that she has really good takedown defense. And even though Mackenzie Dern is known for her jiu-jitsu, it's not a super offensive jiu-jitsu, and it's also not a super devastating jiu-jitsu. She's known for it, but she's not as dangerous as, say, a Charles Oliveira. And I think because of that, I'm going with Verna to get this one done at the ripe old age of 37 in women's MMA.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. My prediction for Verna goes out there and presses the action, and she's going to be aggressive. She's going to be a bulldog like she is from time to time. And what's happened a lot in her decision victories is that she gets her opponents into really vulnerable positions, and we see it time and time again where women don't really like bite down on their mouthpiece and throw. They kind of like run away, shell up, do things that we get annoyed with some male fighters for. It's more common in female MMA, and it's just something that happens, especially with Mackenzie Dern. And I think that this fight's going to end with Virna Jandiroba being like more of a fan favorite, where like she's going to be pressing the action. You're like, woo, woo, and she's throwing punches, throwing kicks, and then when Mackenzie Dern has her, like, Mackenzie Dern's like full guard, just tying up like an arm or a leg and doing like very Charles Oliveira-esque things, but not like aggressive or finishing. It's just, there's going to be moments when Jandiroba is going to be calling her up off her back, off the ground. And I just think that like the fans aren't really going to like Mackenzie Dern after this, and Jandiroba is going to win like one of those. It won't be as bad as like Carla Esparza versus Rose Namajunas 2 or 3, whichever, but it's not going to be super action filled. And I think Virna is going to be the one, that's looking to finish. And Mackenzie Dern, who we've seen her fizzle out in 3-round fights, and now this is a 5-rounder. And Virna's only gotten better with time, and Mackenzie Dern has been more, Mackenzie Dern, like, she isn't bad, she hasn't regressed, but it's not like I'm looking at her fight, wow, she's gotten so much better. But Virna Jandiroba, you could see a remarkable difference since the first time these two women fought in 2020. So, with all that being said, I'm going to go with Virna Jandiroba to just be more active during the fight, be more of an aggressor, and not spend much time on her back, but for Mackenzie Dern to spend a lot of time on her back in like that guard position, hoping to bait her. So give me Virna. It's going to be such a meme too, like the picture of like current champs.
How does this influence your thought here, knowing that Virna started at -215 is up to +138, +145 in some areas, where Mackenzie Dern started +164 is now -178 a week out?
I don't know. I just think there are probably a lot of people that really like that Mackenzie Dern line, like early out, like some serious sharps, and threw a lot of money at her, and that shifted. But if you like Virna like I do in this fight in particular, I don't know. Is there like news, or is there something in particular that we don't know about? Like, did Virna suddenly like lose her ability to hear that's going to tremendously impact the fight or something? Like, is she blind and blind?
Right. Is she blind and deaf?
Right. Like, is there some reason that move, besides maybe just a few people with a lot of money were like, I've seen Mackenzie Dern and threw that money at the line, at the book, who knows?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, who knows? But I was wondering if that changed your thought process at all, seeing the way that move in the line happened.
Well, I guess if it did, then that's like public movement and fade the public. I don't know. We're still a few days out, so
it's no way to justify anything, huh?
Yeah, I could justify anything.
Tom Aspinall, Cyril Gane. I know where I'm going. I assume I know where you're going, but let us know.
We're both going with Cyril Gane, right?
The clear and obvious choice at +320, right? 35 years of age.
Yeah. No, just kidding. Tom Aspinall all the way. Just probably within like 2 minutes. It's gonna be like way prettier than John Jones versus Cyril Gane in terms of the finish. Like, that was, I don't know, it almost like looked like Cyril Gane took a dive right into that guillotine up against the fence. I think that, he's not going to look that bad. Like, I don't know. I think the mystique of John Jones kind of got to Cyril Gane in that one a little bit, but I think maybe within like 2-3 minutes of the fight, Cyril Gane's going to be in like an arm triangle. So, yeah, give me Tom Aspinall.
I think Cyril Gane, I mean, at this point, we're going for Tom Aspinall. So I think we are better off just predicting how we think the fight's going to end more than who's going to win. And I think it's going to be Tom Aspinall. And I think Tom Aspinall is going to go out there and knock out Cyril Gane. And the reason I say that is because Tom Aspinall has gone out there and submitted people, and John Jones has submitted people, although that is making me think he might want to submit him faster than John Jones. But I think Tom also considers like grappling Cyril Gane the easy way out. So I think he's going to be like, no, you're a striker. All right, I'll strike with you. Like, that's cool. That's fine. I want to fight. I don't fight that much. I think he wants to show off fewer areas of his game. So maybe that means striking. Maybe that means grappling. I know I'm kind of talking in circles here, but shoot, I just think if there's no like outlandish strategy, 4D chess going on, and I'm just thinking, all right, how are these guys going to win the fight? I think Tom Aspinall is the kind of guy who's going to want to go out there and strike. I don't think he's going to want to go out there and grapple a guy who's already been shown to have a weakness in grappling. So I think Tom Aspinall is going to go out there and strike with Cyril Gane, and I think he's going to show that, hey, he's got really powerful low kicks. Cyril Gane's either going to have to, similar to how you talked about Alexander Rakic, pay really close attention to hit those to where it opens him up for other things that Tom Aspinall can capitalize with, or he's going to beat up that leg and he's going to be stationary, and then he's going to start working the body and then work up combinations to where he's going to knock out Cyril Gane. So no matter how we slice this, Tom Aspinall striking is better than Cyril Gane's, and I think Tom's the kind of guy who's going to want to go out there, put the striking on display, because Cyril Gane's already been beaten by submission. I could be totally wrong there, but I'm going Tom Aspinall knockout first round.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you on that. I thought about it last year, knock everybody else out of them. So.
Say that one more time.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said, well, as you were talking, I thought about it, and I think you're potentially correct, because when he fought Sergey Pavlovich, he chose to stand and strike with him as well, as opposed to taking, it could have been a really hard route to go up the gut and go for a takedown and meet an uppercut. But, he chose to stand there and strike with a guy that had knocked everybody else out and knocked him out within like 2 minutes. So you may not be wrong on that. But if things do get tough, don't expect Tom to not fall back on his grappling like within that first round. I think maybe if he just like eats like something nasty, he's going to be like, fuck it. We're going for it, and just fucking tackle him,
Who has more disposable income than someone betting on Cyril Gane by decision against Tom Aspinall?
Do you need disposable income, or do you just need to be like an idiot?
I guess. I was just thinking of a creative way to think about who the hell is betting on that. Cyril Gane by decision. I mean, the odds of that have to be, they can't be good enough to unless you're throwing like $25 to win a few thousand.
Oh, they've got to be like insane. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's definitely odd, because like you'd have to, like the scenario that would have to play out for that to happen. Like Tom would have to come in and then like get hit in the head once, but like not get knocked out, but then be like standing and knocked out for the rest of the fight, but then also pass doctor evaluation, so where like Cyril Gane could just piece it up.
It's opened, Gane by decision, opened at plus 1,700. It's down to only plus 1,100. Holy shit. What's going on here, fellas?
Somebody's throwing.
Oh boy, that's some movement, Keith.
That is hilarious, but there's no way. I'm going Tom Aspinall. It's the obvious pick. It's the only pick. And if Cyril Gane upsets him somehow, then I think this would be like his third title fight, right? And
I don't know what he has to fight for other than being a gatekeeper if he loses this one. So
yeah, we'll see.
Let's move on to our pick rundown. Here we go. All right, start us off, Keith. Pick rundown time. Give us your prelim notables and your main card picks.
All right, prelim notables. I'm going with plus 300 Chris Barnett over Hamdi Abdelwahab. I'm going with Walter Walker over Louis Sutherland, the newcomer, and I'm taking Ikram Alexarov over Junyoung Park. Tough one in this prelim featured fight, but I'll go with Nasrat Haqparast over Kilian Salakid. And main card, Azmat Murzakanov over Alexander Rakic. Jailton Almeida to beat Alexander Volkov. Umar Nurmagomedov to dominate Mario Batista. Virna Jandiroba to beat Mackenzie Dern. And Tom Aspinall to obliterate Cyril Gane. What do you got, Tom?
All right. I have Hamdi Abdelwahab to win over Chris Barnett. I am taking Walter Walker over Louis Sutherland. Give me This is going to be a great fight. Rebecca versus Klein. I'm not going to pick it, but it is going to be a really good fight. Give me Alexkarov over Young Park. And I'm going to go with you, Hasparas over Salkilde. You get it. Moving on to the main card, Mirzakhanov over Rakic, Almeida over Volkov, and Nurmagomedov over Batista. I feel the most confident about the Nurmagomedov one, and the Almeida one. Mirzakhanov is iffy, but that's a pretty good parlay there. Virna Jandiroba getting the win, and Tom Aspinall. Honestly, I might parlay that 5 on the main card here and see what happens, because I feel really good about that, which means I'm probably going to go somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 of 5 or 4 of 5, which helps nobody.
Well, we'll find out on Saturday, I guess, right? And if we follow us at Pickin Fights Tom, at Pickin Keith, Spotify, YouTube, please like. Love chatting with you. Am I forgetting anything?
Nope. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on X and Instagram at the things below. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. Just in case you didn't hear it the first time, here's it the second time. And yeah, shoot. That's it.